Work has always been one of the ways that people meet their future spouses. And in fact, not all that long ago, women actually went to work in hopes of meeting an eligible guy. Secretaries fell for their bosses, shop girls flirted with handsome customers. And it made sense. We spend a third of our lives at work, so we might as well multitask. These days, up to 1 in 5 people meet their significant other at work, and 8 million Americans start a workplace romance each year. So it's perfectly normal to find love on the job, but there are risks. One study found that 4% of people who dated a coworker lost their job, while 21% ended up quitting as a result. So, how can you fall in love at work without getting burned? Hi, I'm Amy Waterman, a dating and relationship expert with yourbrilliance.com. And make sure to click that subscribe button now so that you don't miss a single video. Stay tuned as I share some tips to help you figure out whether it's okay to date that coworker. I will never forget the office Christmas party where a woman I knew who worked for our company just occasionally pulled me aside and pointed across the room and asked me, "Are they dating?" And I looked where she was looking, and two of my coworkers were standing there. And it seemed like they were talking to each other, but there was this huge distance between them, and the girl wasn't even looking at the guy. So I told her, I said, them, I don't even know if they know each other. And she looked at me and she rolled her eyes and she told me, "I know these things." And sure enough, it turned out she was right. A year later, my two coworkers would be walking down the aisle. So I guess I don't have X-ray love vision, but I know that some people do. And that's why you've got to know from the get-go that you can never hide a workplace romance. People with keener eyes than me will spot you no matter how well you try to hide it. So before you start flirting with your office crush, always find out what your company's policy is. Even McDonald's CEO lost his job for getting into a relationship with an employee. Anyone who directly reports to you or anyone higher in the food chain is out. But maybe you feel this incredible pull towards this person. And maybe it's impossible to resist, and you know that he feels it too. Ask yourself how committed you are to this particular position with your company. Because if you had to choose between your job and exploring the possibilities with this amazing person, which would you take? I mean, could you switch to a different department? Now, that is not to say that it will ever get that far, but workplace romances sour as often as they go right. And it can end up being really uncomfortable to work with somebody that you were once intimate with. Now, on the plus side, workplace romances are actually more likely to result in marriage than romances that begin online. It's because when you work with somebody, you learn so much about who they are, you see how they perform under pressure, and you share so much in common with them. But never forget that the workplace really is this heightened environment that plays from very different rules from the world outside. So you may find him incredibly attractive as he commands the room at a meeting, but maybe not quite so interesting when you're sitting across from each other with nothing but work to talk about. Me Too has also had a really, really big impact because not only now do many companies have really strict policies in place, and in fact, 78% outright ban relationships between managers and employees, but a lot of men are now really careful about doing anything that could be construed as flirting because they don't want to get accused of sexual harassment. Harvard Business Review actually reports that tech giants Facebook and Google even monitor whether you can ask someone out. And apparently, you can ask a coworker out once, But if they turn you down or if they just say something non-committal, you can't ask them again. And still other companies require that all romantic relationships between coworkers be disclosed. So it takes two very determined people to wade through the morass of popular pitfalls. But if you are that determined, and if that flame refuses to burn out, then maybe there is something there. Maybe there really is the seeds of lifelong love. You would not be the first workplace couple to fall in love and walk down the aisle. I've seen it before. I'm sure I will see it again. But just remember these two things. Number one, nothing stays a secret. And number two, only you can decide if it's worth your job. I wish you all the best in life and love. And of course, if you are looking for more tips on dating and relationships, make sure to check us out at yourbrilliance.com, where we've got tons more information on how you can live your most brilliant life. See you next time.